Everyone. The Cleveland Cavaliers, they are a very good, young, hungry, talented team that just shocked the world by going and acquiring Donovan Mitchell in a trade from the Utah Jazz. It was kind of out of left field, right? It was like the Knicks or bust for a long time, and then boom, you just see the Cavs, and they got him for an absolute steal. I mean, Colin Sexton, who they really didn't want or need, and were kind of figuring out what to do. Do they give him a contract? Do they not? They gave up Lauri Markkanen, who, yeah, that kind of sucks, but they already have plenty of bigs that they don't really need it. He was kind of like the odd man out, especially with Mobley kind of stepping into this like dominant role and being the face and maybe even future of bigs in this league. Period. And they have wing depth, they have guard play, they have a little bit of everything, and are going to be a very good, young, fun team. The draft picks, they don't care about. The pick swaps probably never get used, and they're going to be really good for the next probably 5 to 7 years at least. So they don't care about their picks. They're going to be high picks. They're trying to contend, right? And Donovan Mitchell gave them that one thing that they needed more than anything, which is that go-to scorer, that guy that could close games for them. And Donovan Mitchell, I think, is going to fit in very seamlessly with this team. But of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers are not stopping there. They want to, push the chips to the table and really try to compete and make a push for a championship as soon as possible, if not this year, for the foreseeable future, which I do think at the trajectory in which the Cavs are going, it is very likely that they could win a championship in the next few years. But the Phoenix Suns and Jae Crowder seem to be parting ways. Both have agreed for him not to go to training camp, so he is not participating with the team as they try to find a trade to move him. He's open and welcome to a Miami Heat trade. That's something that he has said himself. Problem is, it's kind of hard for Miami to end up working out a deal for Jae Crowder, just simply on the fact that they don't have a lot of mid-tier contracts. They're all either really small or really big, and I don't see the Phoenix Suns trying to take on long-term salary, especially with Jae Crowder being an expiring deal. They're going to want something that either makes them really good and is it a real upgrade, or they're going to want something that's similar, something that, unless it's just the assets that are attached to that player are just too good to pass up, very likely it could get to the point where they may end up having to buy him out, which is crazy to think about. But what else do you do? I mean, at this point, if you can't find a trade, do you bring him back and hope that happens? And you already have Ayton, who doesn't want to be there. I mean, he clearly is not happy with that team, does not want to be there, hasn't spoke to Monty Williams. They're trying to downplay the whole thing, but it's just a clear mess. The last thing you want is Jae Crowder and that whole drama and everything going around with that. There were already rumors and stuff of there just being locker room issues and things like that with him. And then fast forward and you see him on the trade block, him wanting to get out. So it kind of just makes those rumors seem more accurate than before. Well, a team that is willing to trade for Jae Crowder based on recent reports is the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Jae Crowder would make a lot of sense, right? A versatile wing that could play multiple positions, 3 and D. He's played for the Cavs before, so he's familiar there. Granted, he played when LeBron was there, but still, it's a veteran guy that can come in. There have been questions with his locker room, prowls, and is he a guy that can blend in with teams, stuff like that. That was a big question last time he was with Cleveland, right? LeBron and him didn't really seem to get along. He gets shipped out. But with Miami, he was great in Miami. That's why Miami makes so much sense. There was never really any drama or anything with him in Miami. It seemed like a seamless, good fit. And the Cavs, hopefully, if they do trade for him, which I don't think it would cost much, they could end up getting him at a reasonable price. And I do think he'd be a quality fit, right? Karis LeVert, he's kind of one of those guys that, he sounds great on paper, and then you watch him and he's just kind of all over the place, kind of does what he wants, doesn't really fit within the scope. So lots of questions about him, although he's another guy that could play multiple positions, guard multiple players, stuff like that. So you could bring Crowder in and you have him to kind of, be a chameleon, and so to speak, a guy that can play both wing positions and actually guard players, especially in the Eastern Conference where you have guys like Giannis, right? Jimmy Butler, guys like that. You need somebody like a Jae Crowder to kind of put some pressure, the Jason Tatums, the Jaylen Browns of the world. So it doesn't hurt to go get a veteran wing. He's still young, 32 years old, so he's not he's not 37 where it's how much can you count on him? You can count on him. He's a guy that can come in and really be a factor. And it's just nice to see the Cavs just trying to push the chips to the table to try to be as good as possible this year. Not saying that a deal gets done or anything like that. Obviously, it's going to come down to the asking price, but it depends on how many teams are in the conversation. It doesn't sound like many teams are jumping over each other to try to go get Jae Crowder. And teams know Phoenix needs to get rid of him at this point. So it's like, what do you give up? How much do you give up? The other thing, too, the Cavs still have Kevin Love. And I'm not saying that they'll trade Kevin Love for Jae Crowder. But they do still have Kevin Love that they can move, so I wouldn't be surprised, whether they get Jae Crowder or not, there is a move that could be on the horizon for the Cavs in the near future as well. But to go get a guy like Jae Crowder, I think could make a lot of sense for them. I think it can make a lot of sense for Jae Crowder. You're a guy, you're going to have a role, you're going to be able to come in on a hot, young, up-and-coming team that really could... I wouldn't be shocked if they're in the finals or they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, Atlanta was in it 2 years ago, and they were the same thing, a young team, and then they kind of just fell off. But the Cavs, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think the Cavs have enough depth, versatility. They have scoring, like they have defense. I mean, they were at one point, they were like the best defensive team in the league for like an entire month. Like, so it's there. They're capable of being that elite team, if need be. All these guys seem to be really bought in. Everybody seems to be really ecstatic and high on the Cleveland Cavaliers. And Jae Crowder, I think, could come in and be a very nice fit for this team. I think he could make a real impact on this team and really kind of change, the narrative. And as well as, especially if they're successful, and he's a free agent, so he's going to be playing for a contract, stuff like that. So he's going to need to show, like, I can be a guy that can come in. It's not going to be a locker room issue that can fit in with any team. I went from the Suns, I was on the Heat, now I'm with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they're a young team, and I was able to come in and plug in and play and actually make an impact, stuff like that. He's going to need that, because there are a lot of questions where he goes, where he ends up. He's not on a ridiculous salary. He's on a reasonable salary. He's making under $11 million a year for his skill set. You would think that there'd be more teams lined up ready to just, try to get a Jae Crowder, especially in the NBA that we're in today, where guys like him are in high demand. And you see guys like him get like insane contracts because they're in such high demand. He's not like an all-star or superstar. He's not a guy that you're going to pick up and all of a sudden you're a contender or anything like that. But he is a guy that is very good, that would be a great piece on a contending team or on a really good competitive team like the Cleveland Cavaliers. So I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if the Cavs ended up pulling this off. I wouldn't be shocked if the Cavs made a move like this. I do think that they really do want to kind of push their chips to the table for the right deal. So not just going to make deals just to make deals, but if they can find little ways like this to improve the team, I really think they do. They can find little nice moves and stuff that make them better, even just slightly better. I think they do that. And not just that, worst case scenario, Jae Crowder, free agent. You could just let him walk. You just let him go. You have a couple other guys that are free agents. Kevin Love, you have Karis LeVert, guys like that. So, like, the Cavs could be in a position for flexibility stuff. And if he does work, then you just re-sign him or sign him to an extension or something like that. And it's a win-win for everybody. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think about Jae Crowder? Did you not do the trade? Do you think it works for the Cavs? Do you think it works for the Suns? Also, what would you give up for Jae Crowder? I'd love to kind of hear your trade ideas, your trade thoughts on what the Cavs could give up for a Jae Crowder. Again, it's got to make sense. It's just, I'm curious. I'm curious to see. I think that this would be a solid fit. But do you feel the same way? Or do you think like, no, just, too many locker room issues, what's going on with the Suns? Although the Suns are kind of imploding in and of itself. So the thing is like, is Crowder really that bad, or is he just on a sinking ship and wants to get off? That's something you got to keep in mind, too, when it comes to Jae Crowder and, like, the Phoenix Suns situation. Like, you got the whole sovereign thing. You got, Ayton. You got this team. Chris Paul's only getting older. I mean, he might be looking at this as, like, look, like, we're not doing anything this year. I want to get out of here and go elsewhere. Or just even if they do something, like, I just want to be done. I just want to wash my hands and move on. That could be something as well. But I think he'd be a solid fit for this team. And do you think so? Do you think, like, yeah, he gives you enough flexibility, enough versatility? And what do you think of the Cavs this upcoming season as a whole? Are you excited for them? Are you not? Do you think they're going to be good? Do you think they're going to be bad? Do you think they're going to be somewhere in between? However you feel, whatever your thoughts and opinions are, good, bad, and the ugly, love to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. Quick little shameless plug, go subscribe to my second channel, link down in the description below. As it stands, Lakers. I am a diehard Laker fan. I love talking Lakers. I could talk Lakers all day, just like I could talk about all sports all day. And I'm sure many of you watching to this point enjoy my commentary, enjoy these discussions. So go check out the Lakers channel. Even if you're not a Laker fan and you just like hearing me talk about stuff in basketball, go over there and subscribe. I'll link down in the description below. I promise you won't be disappointed. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.